design should be. Even the rotation of the stairs, putting the bathroom over there. Why did we put the living room, dining room? Sorry, most of the houses around here is usually the living room, a large formal living room, a large formal dining room, and the kitchen's at the back. Okay, we didn't want to go that way because we felt that the buyer for this house is probably going to be more focused on entertaining, socializing. Probably not necessary to have a large formal living area, dining area, because they don't spend a lot of time there. They do more of the time in the kitchen and entertaining towards the deck and things like that. So we kind of curated this design this way for that. We put a roof deck because we felt it was important that or the person who's buying this house is probably going to see a lot of value in socializing, entertaining, bringing their friends over and just hanging out. Okay, so we wanted to have a roof deck, not just any old roof deck, but a really, really nice roof deck. And that's why we created what we did over there. I mean, a lot of design considerations was placed onto this project, and even the basement, if you've been down there, you'll see that it's not just a mishmash. There's a lot of thought went into that. A lot of debating went into that. It wasn't because of me. We argued, I tell you. I mean, Jenny knows. I mean, Frank probably knows. Yeah, Frank knows. Who were part of this project. So what I'm saying is that something like this requires a lot of thought. Okay, if there's 50 people, 60 people in this room right now who bought this house, I am pretty sure that we will end up with 50 different designs. Okay, there's no reason. I'm not saying any one of them is right. It's just a different design. The marketplace will tell you if your design that you came up with was right or not, or wrong when you try to sell a house. So what I try to do is to minimize the chances of it going wrong by having lots of input, okay, from real people, such that way when it does hit the marketplace, hopefully enough people have seen the house or been a part of the process whereby they can say, yeah, this is you hit the nail on the head. And but I'm very pleased with the way it turned out. In terms of problems that we encountered,
let me make a comment on that input. And having done hundreds of renovations over the years and gotten design from various people's feedback, is make sure you have diversity in the group of people giving you feedback. You don't want all guys. You don't want all women. You don't want all old people. You don't want all young people. You have to have a diverse, cohort of people giving you feedback. Because some people are going to look at, the layout of this floor plan here, and they may have different ideas on the placement of the kitchen, based off of, when they're going to use the kitchen more so than someone else. And the same applies for, hey, if I want to have more wall space in here for a television, or do I think the buyer here is going to be more inclined to be outside on the deck with friends, and is that type of clientele going to be buying the house? So just make sure you have a diversity of people giving you opinions.
Yeah, what we did was to look at every single house in this area and did a lot of research on that. Okay, again, I'm not used to playing the 1.2, 1.3, 1.4 price point. So this will not be the only house for sale in this area. I want to see what the competition was up to. I want to see what houses sold, why they sold, or why houses didn't sell. Okay, and when you do enough research, there's certain patterns come in. Okay, we could have chosen a more traditional design. Okay, and left the wood, the historical wood and things like that. And we did, based on the research, houses that did that, they were moving. Okay, so if that was my personal preference, okay, and I did that, I don't want to find out at the end of the day once I've spent $350,000 that I made a wrong decision. Okay, so I did the research and found out those houses were not moving. Then it came through, well, what houses were moving? Why were they moving fast? Okay, again, certain things came into play. And so based on all those, sort of the research, the analysis, the going to the different houses, seeing what other people were doing, looking at the fixtures and so on and so forth, that's how we ended up with what we did. Even the colors, like the color on the wall. Why did we choose this color? I mean, this is the first time I used this color, okay? And we had about 4 or 5 different, in fact, 5 or 6 different colors, possible colors that we could have chosen. The JV partners, after a long debate, we chose this one, okay? And get input from lots of different people, even the color outside. That was a result of debate and discussion as to different possible color schemes that we could have chosen. So what I'm saying is that if you do your project, you want to minimize the chances of failure, and you want to increase the chances of success, okay? You're not on an island, you're not doing this by yourself, you're going to be competing against other products. You need to go out and see what your competition is up to, and you need to do the research to find out, in this neighborhood, what are the trends? In this neighborhood, what's moving? In this neighborhood, what's not moving? And why is it not moving? And so forth. And that will guide you as to what kind of product you'll end up with and how that product should be presented once it hits the marketplace. So, as I say, I'm not a great fan of sort of cross my fingers and hope everything will be okay. I've been through 4 real estate cycles, so I know how they play out. It's not ugly. It's very ugly once it goes down. So, but that's how we ended up with this, product.
All right, so that kind of concludes the fixing portion. Any questions on fixing of the property?
Just real quick, the choice to bring everyone in, that was before the architect.
So the architect comes in first,
Right.
okay, and he does his measurements, and he does his, designs and whatever he does, and then he then brings that gives that to me. We go through reviews. I then start going through the review with the team. Okay, so based on the architect's design, we literally go through the house and say, well, this is what the architect is saying we should do for this room. What do you think? Hell no. No way. And then, cross and minus and so on, okay? And then we go to the next room. Well, this is what the architect is saying. What do you think? Nah, I think we should do this, and so on. I mean, even simple things like, where should we put the hot water heater? Okay, I mean, we debated that throughout an hour or two, okay? Because there's different places where we could be. It could be under the stairs, because there's some dead space there under the stairs. We could have put it there, okay? We created there's a utility closet over there towards the back. It could be in there, okay? And so we were debating whether to be here or there, even where the wash and dry should be, where should that be, and so on. In the end, we chose not to put it under here. We could put it under there, where this, what's your name is?
Yvonne.
Yvonne, behind where Yvonne is under the stairs. We could have put it there. But that would have meant, to get to the hot water heater, you need an access door. And that would ruin the flow of all the doors in this house. So all the doors, as you can see, are a certain height. And then you'll have one which is kind of lower. And at that price, at a 1.4, to me, if it's a $300,000-$400,000 price point, it's no big deal. Okay, but when you start going to a whole other level, that's a big deal for somebody. Okay, a sophisticated buyer, they'll say this disrupts the feng shui. I don't know. Evil spirits will come out and do it. I don't know. So all this stuff, are considerations, and ultimately we ended up going in the second floor. Okay, we're able to craft a space in the second floor hallway, and that's where we put the hot water heater, and that's where we put the washer dryer. Even a hot water heater, in order to put it there, we have to get what you call a high efficiency hot water heater, which doesn't require access to a chimney. Okay, so again, I mean, these are all these little things that you don't think of when you start the project, but they come face to face when you're actually in it.
Well, comment on the architect and the layout and design. So when you're in the finding portion of evaluating a deal, there's obviously certain due diligence you do looking at comps, right? And so through that research and doing due diligence looking at comps, you have to have some idea in terms of what a layout or floor plan, at least conceptually, should be looking like to meet and match those comps that you are trying to hit in terms of your exit price point. So when you hire an architect, my experience has been you at least want to give the architect some guidance on what your thoughts are, your visions are for the project. Then it's the architect's skill set and their expertise to then give you a first draft executing on what your vision is. But it's hard to just tell an architect, design me a house, without giving them any type of guidance based on what your research showed you before you actually purchased the property. And then of course, once you get the first draft, then you start chopping it up with feedback from people giving you some second, third, fourth eyes. Any other questions?
So on the construction part, let's say we had all the permits, we had all these. In DC we use what we call third-party inspectors, and that's what we use here. These are sanctioned by DCRA, and and they come in here and you pay them. They're private contractors. You pay them, and they do the inspections, and they will then sign off and certify that it's up to code. So that's a personal preference that I do for all my projects. But you can, if you want to, use the DCRA. DCRA is the Department of Consumer and Regulatory Affairs, and that's what they call themselves in DC. They're the ones that are responsible for all building construction and permits and things like that in DC. So you can go through them, it's free. Or you can use what we call third-party inspectors, where you pay. And then, but they have the same authority as a DC government, DCRA inspector would have. It's just a lot easier for me. Once the cameras are turned off, I'll tell you why. But it's all good. I love DCRA.
Any other questions that can go on camera?
Yeah.
We're all good on the. Go ahead.
Well, you said your architect got you your building permit.
Yes.
What about your other permits, your demo permit and plumbing? Did you wait for the subcontractors
Yes,
to start?
the contractors do that. They're the ones who get the trades permits, the plumbing, electrical, HVAC, and so on. Yeah. So typically, what we do is once we've got the project, once we go to settlement, the first thing you do is a demo. And in DC, you can get what you call a postcard permit for a demo. So you can start the demo straight away. You can just go online and get yourself a demo permit. So while the building permit is going on, you can at least start the demo because you've been given the permit to do that. And hopefully by the time you've done the demo, the building permit will be ready for you to go on.
Any question?
Yeah, my question is not under the F word. So your residential, how far is from here?
I'm sorry?
Your residential, your property where you live, how far is from DC?
Oh, where do you live?
Now, wait, I live in Bowie, Maryland.
Which is the,
That's about 30 minutes from here.
I was just questioning if will you invest in property that is, let's say, 2 hours away from your house?
Personally, yes, this is just me personally. I only buy, I have rental properties as well, quite a number of them. And I only invest in the immediate Washington, D.C. area. That's Washington, D.C., Prince George's County, Montgomery County. I try to stay within the Beltway. I used to own property in Frederick, Maryland. I have a property in Gaithersburg. To me, Gaithersburg is too far. I just want to be close to, I know this area. I know, it's just like if someone gives me an address, I can at least get some idea of what houses are going for around there. I have an idea where it is. So if someone gives me an address in Baltimore, for example, I don't know Baltimore. I wouldn't know one block from another block. And I wouldn't know what's a good deal. It may be cheap, but it may be cheap for a reason. But I wouldn't know that because I'm not familiar with the different neighborhoods. So I try to stay focused, at least geographically, on where I do my investment.
Question?
Yeah. During the process, did you run into any major issues with the house? Unexpected things that needed to be fixed.
Yeah, this is where it really comes into play your contractors. Okay, you can get different types of contractors, and I've been through all of them. Okay, I've had the guys who, you gotta wake up in the morning from bed. They come to the work drunk. The guys where they don't have a car, so you gotta ride. You gotta Home Depot with a trolley in your hand. And they can't go home, so you gotta stay here too. I've been through all those different scenarios, and I've been GC of whereby I get the different tradespeople and I sort of coordinate the project. I've tried all the different scenarios, and what works for me is and the key to this business, at least the construction part, is having good contractors. And we all can